the first exercise we're going to do is kind of what are you willing to do? And this is focusing on, whatever you want to make this plan for, whether it's all of, your services as a whole, a specific product, a specific service, whatever that is. What it really comes down to is when you're creating a visibility plan, and a marketing plan, so to speak, you have to be honest with yourself as to what you're willing to do. Because a lot of us will make plans and then it's like, dang, I don't like, I don't like doing that. So I want you to take a moment and just kind of think through, and this will be quick, but of course you can add to this and kind of rework this exercise as you're refining your plan. But kind of have one list of the things you love to do that you easily can do for your marketing. So whether it's, some people it's going to in-person events. Excuse me. Some people it's, they love posting on a consistent basis and or creating videos, going live, whatever that is, whatever you love to do. Kind of put a little list down for that. And then the second list is things you should be doing and you're willing to do them. It's not something that you're like excited all the time about, but you're willing to do them because it's something that, and I know it's funny, I use the word should, and I know we're not supposed to should on ourselves, but there are things that we know we should be doing that will help build our business, that will help us have this visibility. So what is those should items that you're willing to do? And then you need to have a list of things you're never going to do. And this is kind of where I was saying, like with that example of at that event I was at, someone who's like, okay, you're going to post 3 times a day and da, 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 da. Some people are like, no, that is never going to happen. They don't want to, they don't like it. Some people don't want to be on video. So maybe it's never a FaceTime type video. There's other types of video you can create that you don't have to be a talking head. But maybe it's that I'm never going to go live. I don't like it. Nope. It's a hard stop. So take a moment here and just jot down a few things in each of these categories.
Would you mind giving a few more examples? Just because,
Sure.
things like Instagram, TikTok, video, writing a blog, like those things kind of seem obvious, but I'm sure you know a few hidden ones.
Yeah. So, other things that help with visibility when you're thinking through
Oh, I
like
see.
how you want to show up would be something like I mentioned. Maybe there's a local like in-person networking event and you're like, okay, I know I should be at least getting out in the community a little bit and connecting in person because that's going to give me some more FaceTime. It's going to make people build those relationships. So, that might be something that is in your should list, or, maybe you love doing that. So that's a natural thing. Other things would be teaching maybe a workshop. So maybe doing some kind of education workshop, whether it's in person or digital or even pre recorded. It also could be something like connecting with an organization where you're going to offer some of your services to, again, build those relationships, gain visibility. I know for myself, each year on my kind of photography side, I don't do it for video because it's too much work to donate video services. But photography services are a little bit easier for me to donate to nonprofits. And it it gives me visibility in the community. I don't necessarily do it just for that because I'm intentional with who I donate my time with and want to give back. So that's something I do as something I love to do, but I have boundaries around it because it is, my time, and it's not just my time at the event, it's my time when I edit the photos at the back end and all of that too. So
And when you do that, like you're going in and offering your service for free, what kind of um what can you in the long run get out of that? Like, is it photography? Is it marketing? Is it all of the above to like their people or
yeah, so it often for where I see that being a good fit for me is that it sh- people see me in action, and there starts to be that association of what I do. And again, also it's a way to build relationships and connection. Because often at a lot of these events, I'll see people that I, know in the community. And so it's keeping me top of mind. One thing I do work to do in that agreement, if I'm going to be offering a service for free, is I come in as kind of like an in-kind sponsor. So I'm part of their marketing.
Mm.
And, especially for an event, I'll be part of their in-kind marketing as a sponsor. And so there's a little bit of marketing that goes on there as well. And so, yeah, end result would be first off, yes, people are going to have me as top of mind for photography services because it's a very hyper local service. And also connect with my social media, maybe, or my, website and learn more about who I am. So,
okay, fair.
so for you, if you were to donate like a service type to an organization, it would definitely look a little different because obviously with what you do, um, that's something that would have to be makes the most sense. But I know, for example, I uh, actually have a sponsorship that I do with an event at the end of the year called Friendsgiving. And they actually they have worked with a couple of massage therapists where they have them kind of in one area and people kind of rotate through, and it's like a short little massage, but it's like a very pampering type event. And so the massage therapists are considered like a in-kind sponsor and participate and get that visibility. And they're kind of part of that marketing too. So that might be something, it's as you think through what opportunities or where you want to highlight. And that it, like you asked that question to me, that's what we have to ask ourselves is what we're willing to do. What does that lend to?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for example, I'm going to be teaching at an event, a couple of events coming up, but one in particular will be in October called ThriveCon. This year it's going to be a 2-day conference, and I'll be doing a breakout session about AI, and how, how to kind of get over the fears. The whole theme of it is kind of like fears in business.
Mm.
And a lot of people have a lot of fear around AI and using that for their marketing and what makes sense. And, how do they navigate all of this with simplicity? And so actually that's one reason I'm working really hard to get everything organized for the ABC club and also some small probably DIY courses that I'll start having available that people could purchase if they just want to go through the videos and do things on their own. So that event, by being an in-kind sponsor and speaking and having a presence there, will allow people to go, oh, she is an expert on this, or she knows what she's talking about here. And then I can also promote the ABC Club and those courses. And so that will bring visibility to that part of my business.
Yeah, got you. Okay. Got Yeah, I think it just goes back to defining again the foundation and where I'm headed. I'm a shifter. So I feel like you helped me a ton building my ideal client, and like that business is solid, and I have a great direction that I want to go with it. And as far as like my massage clients, like it doesn't need a lot of feeding right now.
Okay.
So then I'm on to like other thoughts of like what else kind of do I have the bandwidth for, like you said,
Mhm.
and how else do I want to, what other impacts do I want to make in this world? So yeah, it's coming back to the foundation once again.
It really, I mean, and really all of this is that exactly is what do you want to focus on right now that's going to build your business as a whole? Because yes, you may be focusing on one product or one program or service, but when people come to you and find out, oh, okay, there's all these things that Christy offers, it's that discovery process, right? But wherever you're wanting to build is where you can put your efforts. Like you said, if your massage isn't something that's needing a lot, then great. You're not going to focus on that right now. You're going to focus on other things, and then how do you build that so that it's become something that's stronger and will become something that has that process around it so that you don't need to feed that one as much either.
Yeah, yeah, got you. Okay. Well, it's good to write down like what write this down and kind of start to explore more ideas of what else is out there, and kind of, you know, like recognize that there's so much more networking now, or retreats or workshops um that once we start thinking about them, sometimes they just step out in front of us and say, pick me.
Exactly. And it is hard. I totally understand being kind of a shifter and like, you know, it's very easy to, I think, sometimes do that because it we get excited about different things, or like you said, opportunities pop up, and so then we kind of shift over there, especially like you and I, we offer kind of a menu of things. And by having some grounding in the process of what you want to focus on, it helps so that you can have your message and have your marketing have that consistency and how you're connecting, or at least a thread of it. And that's where you'll see here shortly in a few minutes, kind of creating that plan around marketing that, or the visibility around that is where you can kind of shape it.
Okay. Do you mind going down for a moment just so I can see your examples one more time?
Yeah.
I tried to print out my thing, but it was not working for me.
Oh, this here, right?
Yeah.
This here, yeah.
Visual blog posts, how to. Okay. And then what's the create image slideshows? Where would those be used at?
So that is something that they also, here I can do this, called Flipbooks. Oops. There is been a trend where it's almost like a little mini informative slideshow or flip book that people in I think LinkedIn is like where they're really popular right now, but they can be used, on I don't know as much on Instagram, but probably Facebook. And it's just like a educational piece. It can be used as an educational piece. We used these flip books when we were promoting the event we did last year, Galacon with Mariah's group. So, it was something brand new. People didn't know what it was. So we had to create some marketing content and, a slideshow or a flip book that just talked about what things were and what was going to happen. It was an easy way for someone to engage and find out more information.
Okay. Gotcha.
Especially on the sponsorship side, because we were trying to get sponsors and, people won't sponsor if they don't know what they're doing.
Okay. And any thoughts on, I keep on hearing Pinterest again. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, Pinterest is coming back. Pinterest is really a good space. It's in essence, and I'm not sure where it ranks in right now, but I know back like 5, 6 years ago, it was up in the top, I think the top 5, at least the top 10 search engines, but I think it was in the top 5 that people will go to Pinterest and, you can search and that's where it pulls up, recipes or, workouts or whatever, beauty things, whatever people are wanting to search for. And so it's a really great place. So if you have, let's say, a blog and you've done maybe 5 ways to X, you could have an image and post it on Pinterest and give a little synopsis and some keywords because it's really robust in how you can put in keywords and search terms, and then you can link it to your blog post. Or if you have a video, you can, or, a flip book like that, if you have it hosted on on your website or something because you could actually use the flip books like on a blog post as well. You can put a little nugget there and then it's really a driver to somewhere else, whether it's YouTube or your website is likely the best places because it's going to be more static. But you could also, if you have, because I know you have some products, so you could, showcase products and then link it to wherever people can purchase those.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I feel solid with that whenever you're ready.
Okay. So let me flip over and share the next document. I did not send this out. I will send this out, but we're going to walk through this in chat. And so I'll kind of walk through the process and then I'll send this out a little bit later on today to let everyone walk through this. Okay. And now with what's nice about this is this is kind of rooted in some things that I had, oh my gosh, probably about 6 or 7 years ago. A lot of this stems from creating these content processes or content plans. And all of this was very manual, like you would do this yourself. And now with a chat, you can easily plug certain things in and then you can have it create these marketing plans for you. And that's what we're going to walk through today. So, creating your plan to start with, what I just action. What I always tell people is start small. Don't try and dump everything in to the bucket and try and do all of these things. So for me, 3 is a very magical number because 3 is a manageable number. You can do 3 things and you can get a system and a process around those 3 things for consistency, whether you're trying to do those 3 things each week, whatnot. So I know there's kind of another synopsis here, but pulling in and choosing 3 things that you'll do and deciding that that's what you're going to focus on to create your initial marketing plan. If there's a platform involved, you would kind of put that in. So let's say it's posting your blog, it's going to be on your website. Do you need any tools or resources? So really, this is just a way to organize and say, if I'm going to do these 3 things successfully, what do I need to have there? If it's like an in-person thing, there's not necessarily a platform, but maybe it's, what are the tools, resources, or connections that you need to have plugged in there? So that's where we first start to create this plan, is intentionally choosing and limiting ourselves to start with, and then we can always add more to the mix. And then next is what I really love to do, and we're going to walk through this right now. We'll use those 3 things in a moment, but creating a monthly theme plan around what you do or what you want to focus on in your marketing has always been something that has been very helpful, because when you have a plan and you know what you're going to need to talk about, then as you shape what you're going to do each month, because we're going to create a high overview plan, but then each month you're going to want to narrow down, what am I doing specifically for those posts, for those blogs, for those, maybe capturing images or doing a workshop. What are the themes that you want to focus on? And what I like about this and how this has served me, and really where this stems from, is my experience in marketing for a lot of different companies. When you have and you create something like this, then you really can recycle this over and over and over again. For a couple of the companies that I worked for back in the day when I managed their social media and their blogs and all of that, I had about a 2-year monthly theme plan, and we would just go from year 1 to year 2, year 1 to year 2, because those themes with some tweaks were in alignment with what the company was all about. And of course, when things shifted or changed a little bit in a year, maybe new products were added or a new service, then you just simply weave those things in as you're creating the marketing content. But the themes kind of dictated or drove the process. So some things to ask when you're creating this theme plan in your branded, you want to use your branded thread is, is there a specific ideal client you want to focus on, or is it all of them? And that's fine to be one or the other. What problem does the offer, product, program solve? So making sure that you have a little bit of that into the theme plan. If there is a specific offer, product, or program you want to focus on, you can kind of jot that down, and then kind of client experience. What do you want? What do you want to really draw out in your marketing that's related to your client experience?
Can I stop you? Because I got a little bit lost.
Yeah.
So you got your ideal client and then you have your problem. And then so then you say what's your offer within, it's still joining up with the two on top, right?
Yeah. Yeah. These are all things just to kind of, you can jot down that will help you pull together your theme and your plan. This is really just like a brainstorm ahead of time before you create the theme plan of what you want to focus on.
Okay.
Now, if you want to keep it a little bit more generic, you can kind of just use your brand foundation profile, all of it, and pull from that. But these are some ways to really narrow down some direction and give your themes a little bit more specificity to, what direction you want to head.
Okay. And then are these topic line like the ideal client, um is that like bullet points as far as the ideal client, what the offer and the client experience, or are those underneath each other?
Separate. So you would just jot down, what, so for example, so let's use this. I'm going to scoop this up really quick and show you. Okay, so I'm going to share, let me actually just share my screen, it'll be easier. Okay, so I've got this here. I'm scooped that up. I'm going to go to my thread. Come on. I'm going to go right here. So I'm going to plug in this right here, and then I'm going to add some things. I would suggest doing it on a piece, on a document first, because it'll be a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah. Is it possible for you to make that screen bigger?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hold on a second. Let me try this. Is that better?
Yeah, I think I just need to move you so that.
I know, it gets tricky.
Okay.
Okay, so well, actually, let me do this. I think this will be easier if I do it this way. So we'll come back to this really quick, but I'm just going to do a blank document really quick. Okay, I'm going to do this. Then we'll scoop it up. So let's say I am wanting to focus on oops. Come on. There we go. Focus on my minded entrepreneurs. Is who let's go. Direction in okay. Now it's gonna put like I can also say here also because we're gonna scoop this up and stick it into the chat. So I can also put in here also pull from my ideal client profiles. So I'm just informing it to do that. What problem or offer or product? What problem does it solve? Clarity in how to clarity and how to oh right. Yes. Okay, keeping it simple there. So what offer or product, do I want to focus on? I'm going to focus on AI brand. Actually, I'm just going to spell it out using AI to craft marketing message and content to capture images, mindset. Phrase. So, okay, I'm just gonna kind of keep with those three things. Now you can spell out the exact product or program or like the offers that you want to focus on. So for example, for you, I know we were talking about, let's see. You had sent over, your, let's see.
The top one's kind of me shifting. The bottom one is my Sargatai that's more solid. So you can kind of
So the Sargatai is kind of where you're wanting to focus in developing.
No, it's more solid. Like I feel like I have a clear direction. The top
Okay.
one is me just shifting and wondering if this is an interesting thing for me to go into. So what I was
Okay.
saying is if you want to work with something solid, pick the bottom one. If you want to work with my creative mind, pick the top one.
Oh, I see. Okay. That makes sense. So, okay, Sarkatai. Okay, because this is your, yes. Okay. So really you could actually take this whole thing here if you wanted to. See, I should, and we could take this whole thing that you've written out. Because the nice thing is with chat is it doesn't really care about formatting a whole lot. So, but I kind of wanted to show this here. So I'm going to put this here for a minute. So you could actually just plug in and say, okay, ideal client, you could put a few things in there that makes sense for this, which you had a little bit in there. The inspired, creative, and overwhelmed entrepreneurs. Is that who you would say kind of is your ideal
Hmm.
for that? Okay. And then we've got the business portion. So that would kind of the offer, you know, what that is. And then the experience, you know, this kind of depends. You can kind of leave this if you don't want to fill it all in, but this also gives some opportunity to direct that. So to kind of take this for yours and walk you through this, let me do this here. Yeah. I'm going to take what you sent over. So this up here, and the ideal client is this. Okay. We're gonna keep that out of here for right now. So as far as the product or service, what would you, let's see, what would you say is the primary service?
I think it's helping like people to find their foundation. So like someone comes to you and they're just lost in even what marketing is, right? It's that person before that really dials into, you know, what impact do you want to make in this world? Like how are you going to start to see your ideal clients? So maybe even someone before they come see you.
Okay.
Where they feel called to do something, but they just don't know what that is.
So where you're helping facilitate that, is it kind of like we met where you walk through and you ask questions and then you kind of help give that direction?
I think it's more touching into like who we who we are and like building resources to inspire business and how you're going to sustain like through you know creativity or art or um like how you're gonna keep the momentum up of sharing it.
Okay. Um, so again, I'm just kind of moving some stuff around here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of this and go back to the chat. And while I don't have a trained chat per se for you, that's okay. It gives us a good start. Yeah. So I'm just gonna say hello. Right. Marketing action plan. But first, tell a bit about direction I want to have and what I want to focus on. I'm gonna plug that in.
Okay, rein me back in as far as like what are you on this whole thing, like things I love, creating a plan, or are you on this monthly theme plan or all of it?
It's all so the theme plan and the what you love. So we'll plug that in and just the what you love to do in just a minute. So we're gonna use that piece in just a moment in the marketing plan.
Okay.
So we're definitely doing this kind of on the quick side, but that's okay. So right now I'm just wanting to inform it. Just want to let it know what's going on so that it, okay. Oh, I forgot to tell it not to send anything, but that's okay. It gave me stuff anyways. Okay.
How
So
did it bring in the connect? I must have said something.
what?
Oh, I was like, well, where did it come into the connect wellness? Like, I didn't even remember writing anything like that.
Oh, right here.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to have it forget that?
No, I just didn't remember writing it. So it's like, where did that come from?
Okay. Okay. So, okay. So what we're going to ask it to do now, and we definitely could add some more things there. I should have told it not to return anything, but it did, and I forgot to. So always, if you are wanting it to kind of not, not give you a whole chain of things, just say, don't return anything. So now what we're going to ask it is, I would like to create a monthly, I'm going to back up, a high overview monthly theme and this. Do not need action items. Tasks, just themes. Topics. Like okay, I'll leave it at that. Please make this for June. Let's just say 12 months. This for 12 months. Okay. So it's going to naturally pick January. Of course, you can take all the things and then just adjust them. And I'll send you this. So if this is interesting, this looks interesting. Um, uh, so it just kind of took a little bit of that. I believe that this prompt, and I'll send all of this later on this afternoon. I have a thing I need to go to this morning, but this afternoon, I'll send out kind of a follow up with this with kind of the prompts and everything, and you can kind of play with this with your thread.
Okay.
That's trained because it might pull in more that would make more sense. But I don't know if is any of this kind of hit good.
Sorry, I was looking at the words, but they weren't just digesting. I was caught up of like the months. So
Yeah.
no, you're fine to go through. Um, uh, yeah, this whole light and spark and no, that yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And that's exactly where you can say something like, please. So you don't like the light and spark?
No. I'm less the light and love wellness provider and more like, let's get shit done and be grounded.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
That look a little better.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing is you can easily go, okay, yep, nope, let's remove that from your from your process. Okay, so now over here. What are things your top few things that you love or should be doing that you want to focus on? And then we're going to create a really abbreviated action plan. But then again, like I said, you can layer in more things.
Well, it's really easy for me to create video, and the head to talk is really easy. It's just the content of like what to put. So
Okay.
hence this. Um, and then the things I should be doing are um I do like the idea of Pinterest and like the blogging idea. And then I wrote down other things, but I don't even want to say them because they seem like a lot of work when the other things seem really easy and stuff that I could just whip out quickly. So
Sure.
there you
Keep it simple right now. So like a monthly blog, a video. So when you say video, would that just be your kind of recording almost like an informative video that you would just post?
Yeah, I guess it's more me doing Thai massage or massage, and then I hit on points of like the entrepreneur. So feeding those two things together is like I'm a wellness provider, and this is how um I sustain my business within kind of thing.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Okay, so we've got video, we've got monthly blog, and then I know you were saying like Pinterest, posting to Pinterest, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also do Instagram, right?
Yeah, I do Instagram, a little bit of TikTok, and me and a friend have been recording a podcast, but it hasn't settled within yet.
We'll leave that offering. Okay, so now hopping back over to the thread here. Is there one of these that hits well that you're like, let's explore that one? Because then we're gonna create a marketing plan around that month.
Um, yeah, I mean, you can use any of those, but
Okay.
go up a little bit more. It seemed a little stronger and more me. Um, Yeah, make room for what's ready is great.
I'm just gonna put this here so I can easily. Okay, I'm gonna scoop all of this up and go back here and say thank you. Clear it. Great.
In your talk, are you going to talk about the sustainability or the resources used with how many words we put into AI?
Like how many we put into AI and like how much.
What? Yeah, what the resources it's using? Because that's like a fear base, right? I don't want to use AI because it's using up our resources and
Yes.
taking away water, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a lot of a fear around that for sure. For that does cause it to. I think there's a lot because yeah, also that and then replacing, also what information are you putting out there? That's another big fear. And there should be fear around that. Like you should
Mhm.
be
Yeah.
cautious because yeah, there are people who are using AI as their therapist, and
Mhm.
that's terrifying. Because
I mean, honestly, I do use it, but I put in like specific people that I'm like, these are, and then when it feeds back, it's not like you're going, these are really true, like these are exact. It's just suggestions of like, does this sit within me? Yeah,
exactly. But I know people who are just like
well, using
just
it as
voice to text into it, like they're talking to it like it's their therapist. And I'm just
oh,
like,
scary.
I don't think that AI is helpful, but I don't know. Know a lot about you, and all of a sudden, I don't know,
Yeah.
that's sometimes my fear.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is what I want to focus on and action items. So create a high overview about action marketing plan. Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk about that because that's definitely something that people are. Well, I think people just don't know where to start either. There's so much out there.
Yeah.
And my goal is to try and just simplify. And that's kind of the goal of this group too, is keeping with the same tools. We're not going to be trying to use so many tools that people are like, I don't know which one to use anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay. Okay, so we kind of pulled in core pillars to focus on. So we're gonna shift this a little bit more potentially. Um, so here's a video idea. Um, and again, shaping this just takes, where do you want to shape this and what part do you like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Blog title, graphic. Because even like with something like this, you could say, okay, we the title, description, tags. So you can even get into, the nitty gritty of like, it's gonna, give you all of that you can.
Yeah.
So it gave a couple different options.
I'm cracking up at the Just Clear space as I work in like my craft product room that is not space.
That's okay.
And also the idea of like how do we work within our mess and actually get things done seems more fitting. But
Right.
I get the point. I get the point here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like Instagram, what are some options? So then you could go into this Instagram, and say, you could have it give you a little bit more ideas. So you could take this Instagram plan. Please give me a more specific plan with specific ideas for images. Okay, so this is where I think that AI is very, very helpful because it's that idea generator. Do you have to do any of these? No, but at least sparks some like, okay,
Yeah.
static. Okay, I'm letting go of, okay, ideas. You're holding something symbolic that you're releasing. So maybe it's, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever it is. So, and then it can give some caption ideas and then you can even go further when you get all of these, it's a mess when you first start. But when you get it organized, then you can actually go in and then, okay, give me, and I think you've done this, give me 3 or 4 ideas of copy that will go along with this image, that makes sense for a post. And then you can further break it down. But the nice thing is with having the action plan really break into, like I said, the 3 things or 3 or 4 things that you want to focus on for that month. It's not so overwhelming because then you can spend some time to really dig into like what you're going to put on Instagram or what is that blog post going to be like, and then you can have it even create the starting of that blog post for you. Say, give me the starting point for this blog, 500 words, and it will gladly give that to you, but then taking it and reframing it and rewording it so that it's your words, but it's gets you past that writer's block sometimes.
For sure, for sure. And then at the end, it's like this huge mess. And I'm like, I think we've lost the point. Let's go back to the beginning.
Sometimes, yes. But that's where like being able to refine this plan to start with for this topic is then you can have that, I would just copy this all, put it on a document, organize it, and then you've got your plan for that month. So let's say, you're planning for June. Okay, I'm going to plug that in. I'm going to plan for June. Here's everything that I'm wanting to do. And then you can go back and then just do, okay, the blog post, get that organized, all of those things, and then kind of plug and play into the document so that then when it's all said and done, you've got your one document with everything that you're going to do for that next month, and you're not having to keeping it in a separate document is always going to be a lot more helpful than trying to scroll through a chat or whatnot. But yes, it does get messy for sure in the chats.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now. It's like there's so much that I put into the AI, and then it's when I go back to like fine tune it, I'm like, I don't even know where to start. So I'm trying to figure out how to organize things
Well,
so I can come
and
back easier.
and one of the things that it does start to do is it does store memory. So you do have where the memory in here, it does latching on to things. And so as you're working with this individual threads, it can be for a specific task. You know, you could separate your threads for your specific tasks over here, you know, and then
Mhm.
of course make sure you're labeling them. Like I have one that's just for website copy as I've been refining my website because that's a very specific type of direction versus, you know, social media posts or something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can utilize that, I think, to kind of organize and it's still going to retain as you started to use your brand foundation and kind of train it in different threads, it kind of does retain that as a whole account. Um,
Yeah.
so it is there. So, but I can send this over to you. I'll capture if you
Cool.
want,
Yeah.
capture it and send it over, and I'll be sending the prompt over and that as well.
All right. Perfect.
Okay. Well, have
Thanks
a
for your
great,
time.
absolutely have a great rest of your Saturday.
You too. See ya.
Okay. Take care. Bye.